Yakshas and Rākshasas I am Kubera. Of the Vasus I am Agni fire, and of mountain peaks I am Meru. First of all, in this 23rd verse, Shri Krishna says that of the Rudras he is Shamkara, Shiva. There are 11 Rudras. We will not go into figures, but we will see what Rudra means. In everyday life, we understand Rudra to mean God, and we say that Shivji means Rudra. There is a difference between Rudra and Shamkara. This is because there are 11 Rudras, and Shankar is one of the Rudras. We should understand the meaning of the word Rudra. When we understand the meaning, then this becomes a very sweet sentence that Shri Krishna says in this verse, Rudranam Shankarasya Asmi. Rudra means one who makes one cry. Runti de Rudraha. Think about it. We call Shivji the god of destruction and death. We say that when one gives death, and one does Rudanta, makes us cry and gives us pain. One who dies is given pain, and those who are close to the one who dies are also given pain. Rudra is a divine power, and we worship it. One who makes us cry is Rudra. Out of the Rudras, Shri Krishna says that Shankar is his vibhuti, divine manifestation. When he says that one who makes us cry is Rudra, we think that some toughness has come. Who is Shankar out of the Rudras? One who does good for our well-being is Shankar. Shankaroti iti Shankara. This is the vibhuti, divine manifestation of the Lord. The Lord makes us cry, but why? He makes us cry for well-being, and such a Shankar is the Lord's vibhuti, divine manifestation. Look at the beauty of this verse now. Rudranam Shankarasya. By way of example, if there is a mother, if there is someone who is more dear to a mother than anything in the world, then it is a child. A mother looks after a child so much, but if the child has stolen a pencil from the school, and the mother finds out the child has brought back someone else's pencil, and that is a wrong thing, which will not lead to the well-being of the child, then the mother will be a little strict and tell the child, why do you bring that back? Make sure you give it back tomorrow. If the child has not given back the pencil on the next day, then the mother may slap the child once. Does the mother have any venom towards the child when the mother slaps the child? No. This is the mother's form of Rudra. Tears start dripping down from the child's eyes. Has the mother made the child cry or not? The mother has made the child cry. The child very much liked the pencil of the people sitting next to him, but the mother saw that the well-being of the child is more than this, and that is why the mother made her child cry. But why did the mother make the child cry? One who does good for our well-being is Shankar. Shankaroti iti Shankara. It is not for the well-being of the child, and that is why the mother made the child cry. The Supreme Soul says that this power is his vibhuti, with the manifestation. God can sometimes be strict. God can sometimes make us cry. God can sometimes give us pain. But your well-being is in that, and that is why there is pain. If you look at lust pain from this perspective, then Rudram Shankarash Asmi, or the Rudras and Shankar. When we are separated from a person or object, then we just see that your well-being is in this, and that is why scissors is cutting through these relations. Your well-being is more than that. Pain comes, but there is at least a little well-being in it, either for you, the other individual being separated from you, or for both of you. It is for the other individual's well-being and also for your well-being. Rudranam Shankarasya Asmi. Of the Rudras, I am Shankar. The second thing that Shri Krishna is trying to say here is that only the power of Rudra will not work in your life. You also need the power of Shiva and the power of Shankar. There are many people in the world who make others cry, but are they making people cry with the feelings of Shankar? There is a lot of strictness in this world, but are people strict with the feeling of Shiva? If so, then only then is the strictness right. If one does not have the feeling of Shankar and one does not have the attitude of doing good for the well-being of the other person, then this strictness is not right. Rudranam Shankarasya Asmi. Of the Rudras I am Shankar. The symbolism of Shiva is beautiful. How can I talk up the symbolism of Shiva? For that person who nobody looks after, Shivji will look after them. This is the first and foremost greatness of Shivji. If nobody looks after a person, then Shivji will look after them. Pushpadanta says in the Shiv Mahima Stotam, Amalrayam Shilam Tadravatu Naraya Meva Akulam Smarshane Svakrina Smarahara Pishita Sarashara Jita Basmalatena Shugapi Nikaroti Parikara. Lord, whatever inauspicious things there are, come to you and become good for people's well-being. You live in mortuary and play your divine games there. You are a hunter of desires. Your friends are ghosts and goblins. You smear your body with ashes. You wear a necklace of skulls. Where does Shivji live? In a mortuary. Some people live on Aldersgate Street. Some people live on North Circular Road. Some people live in Notting Hill. where they will be appreciated and will get recognition, Shivji lives in a mortuary. This is a place that is never going to get appreciated. Is this a place to live? This is where Shivji lives. Not only does he live in a mortuary, but he plays his Leela divine games there and is happy there. The place where nobody likes to go is his eternal abode. This is the first acceptance. Pushpadanta addresses Shivji as a killer of desires. Fair enough, he lived in a mortuary and he believed this. Many times people go to a faraway farmhouse that they have bought out of interest. This is fine. But the farmhouse that they have bought is far away and everything is fine there. We don't have to think that our house here is going to appreciate 2 years, but that farmhouse is not even going to appreciate in 20 years. It does not matter. That is not going to appreciate, but when you stay at farmhouse far away from town, then at least you have your social circle, right? Are your friends right or not? Shivji's friends are ghosts and goblins. What is the most impure thing out of all the impure things in the world? It is ashes. This is the most impure thing in the world. Let's say that there's a person who's age 50, 60 or 70, and we have lived with them, eaten with them every day, spoken with them, traveled with them, and done everything, and we have so much feelings towards them. One day that person dies, and his dead body leaves and is at a house and is cremated. We have a flower that is diminished with the person's ashes. Does anyone bring this into the house? People just say to keep it outside and to put it in an ashes locker when they go to Prague, Hubba, or another holy town or banks of the Ganga River. Then they resolve that they will take the ashes for the ashes locker with them. The person is so dear to them, and yet they still do not keep the ashes. It is the most impure thing. What does Shivji do? He smears his body with ashes. Through this, Shivji shows us that, as it is said in the Isha Upanishad, Idam basmatam sharidam kripo smara kutam smara kuto smara kutam smara. This body is a form of ashes. The body is going to be ashes in 70 years. Shivji has made it into ashes right now. This is because to the entire great duration of existence, what is 40 years, what is 70 years, what is 80 years, or what is 90 years? It is just a small amount. Shivji is standing here today, having accepted what's going to happen tomorrow. This is the symbolism of Shiva. Shivji wear a necklace of skulls. I've heard it that Lao Tzu, who is a great thinker of China, was once walking through a jungle. He felt something under his foot and he stumbled. He saw a spherical creature that just rolled away. Lao Tzu found it strange. It was a little rock, and Lao Tzu thought that it cannot be a rock because it did not have as much weight as a rock. Lao Tzu found this strange and wondered what had hurt him in his foot. He tried to search for it and found it. He realized that it was a skull of a person. Lao Tzu kept the skull with him. His pupils found this strange that a great personality, a wise person, and a knowledgeable person like Lao Tzu, who so many people from all over the world would come to meet to attain wisdom, was sitting with the skull next to him. His pupils said that he gave the wrong message to people and that it looks bad. His pupils asked why he kept the skull with him. Lao Tzu said he had learned a lot from the skull. His pupils asked what he had learned. Lao Tzu said, I stepped on it and hurt it, and yet it did not say anything to me. If this person was living and I stepped on him and hurt him, then what would have happened? That is why the skull teaches me from now on that just like I stepped on this skull today, in the same way somebody will step on this skull of mine one day. That is why whenever I walk around with my head up high, how can this work? Therefore the skull always reminds me about humility and about selflessness. Shivji is sitting there with a whole necklace of skulls. Shivji has a snake as an ornament. A snake is a symbol of death and a symbol of time. Ordinary people fear snakes and run away from snakes. This snake in the form of death and time increases the grace of Shivji, and Shivji uses it as an ornament. Whatever innocent sins there are, they come to Shivji and become good for people's well-being. This is the symbolism of Shiva. Nothing impure remains with a person. Shivji is so bhola, easily pleased, that we recognize him as Bholanath, one who is easily pleased. I remember one small event that shows how bhola, easily pleased Shivji is. Another name for Shivji is Ashutosh, which can be split into Ashu, immediately, and Tosh, satisfied. Therefore Ashutosh Shivji is one who is immediately satisfied. Shivji is immediately satisfied. Neither Shivji will be pleased if you pour just one double water. Where can you find a God like this? Where can you find a truth like this? One thief had come out on the town one night. In every house that he went to rob, there was either somebody awake, somebody up late talking, an elder sitting down, or something else happening. He could not find any opportunity to rob anyone. It became 4:30 in the morning, and a thief thought that I have not been able to rob anything for a few days. How can it work in this way? If the business is not going well, then how can I run the house? I'll have to do something. The robber went to the temple of Shivji outside the town and thought about whether he could find anything there. What can there be in a temple of Shivji? If there are temples of any other gods, there's a lot of nice ornaments, jewels, etc., but there was nothing in the temple of Shivji. He looked around and could not find anything. The leaves of offerings hanging from above with holes. The thief thought that he would take it and he would get at least 2 grains of chapati. He could not reach them because they were hanging from above. He wondered about what he could do and looked around, but he could not find a table to stand on. He found a big shivling. The thief stood on the shivling and went to pick up the leaves, and as soon as he reached them, then he saw a lot of brightness and brightness coming from the shivling. The thief became frightened and wondered what it was. He came in front of him, and Shivji was standing there. Shivji said, ask what you want and I will give it to you. The thief said, leave it, brother, let me take the jar in there, I don't want anything else. Shivji said, I'm Shiva. The thief said, wherever you are, let me take this picture and go. I have not got anything, and I've been running around for so many nights and could not find anything. Let me take this and go, that will be enough. This was going on. Shivji said, I have really become manifest, just ask. The thief just would not believe that Shivji himself had come in front of him. Do you ever believe this? The verse that God came in front of us in the middle of the night and said, ask what you want and I'll give it to you. We would think that it is someone else, and we would tell them to go outside wherever they are. We would ask them to let us sleep at that time. Can you even imagine that the Lord himself would come and stand in front of us and tell us, ask what you want and I'll give it to you? It feels nice to listen to it in the stories. The thief said, brother, I don't want anything, let me just take this. While this conversation was going on, a priest came, and the priest recognized Shivji. The priest performed Shastanga with Pranam, bowing down completely to Shivji's feet, and addressed the Lord. Shivji did not even look at the priest and told the thief, ask quickly. The thief said, brother, the priest is come, so let me in out quickly. Shivji said, just ask quickly. The priest found it strange that Shivji's granted a boon to the thief. The priest asked Shivji, Lord, you're granting him a boon. He's a thief of the town, he commits robberies, he's a rogue, he's never done anything, you're granting him a boon. Lord, you are making a mistake. I come to the temple 5 to 10 minutes, I came to the temple 5 to 10 minutes late today. You thought I'd come here at this time every day, and therefore you think that he's a priest. God, I am a priest and not him. Shivji told the thief, just ask quickly. The priest said, Lord, you're telling him, until now I have offered so many things to you, but you are telling him what he wants. I have offered you water, milk, black sesame seeds, billy pepper leaves, gardens of flowers, and so many other things. Lord, for the last 40 years, grant me the boon, Lord. Why are you telling him to ask what he wants? He has not offered anything to you. Shivji looked at the priest and said, brother, for the last 40 years you have offered only water, milk, black sesame seeds, billy pepper leaves, gardens of flowers, and such things, where today this man himself has climbed on me. What can I not give to somebody who himself has climbed on me? What I mean to say is that this is the truth of Shivji. Shivji is easily pleased. Shri Krishna says that all the Rudras, Shamkara, Shiva is his Viruti, divine manifestation. The whole family of Shivji is worth understanding. You see that there are many goods, but the truth of Shivji is exceptional. You can worship Shri Krishna. With Shri Krishna you can worship Radhaji or Rukmani, Vita Rukmai, and that is it. But there are no temples of Shri Krishna's sons. Rukmani is not worshipped anywhere. Aniruddha is not worshipped anywhere. There are no temples of them. But here if you look at Shivji's family, then Shiva is worshipped, Mother Parvati, his wife, is worshipped, then his son is worshipped, and God today, his son is worshipped. The mother, the father, and the sons are all worshipped. Even Shivji's vehicles are worshipped. This is a very exceptional family, and a family is a family worth thinking a lot about. Whoever wishes for well-being to happen in their lives can learn a lot from this family. Whoever wishes well-being for their own family can learn a lot from the family of Shivji. First of all, Shivji accepts everyone. This is the first thing to learn from the family of Shivji. Every person is accepted. There is no pressure on anyone. You will not see any pressure on anyone for Shivji. If there is a rose flower in house and there are 4 people in house, then all 4 people are arguing over the flower. I explain these things in the Srimad Bhagavad discourses. There is a husband aged 45, a wife aged 42, a daughter aged 18, and a son aged 15. There is a family of 4 people. There is a rose flower that is brewed in a pot on the balcony of the house. In the evening they have to go to a wedding reception. They are getting ready. The husband says that I wear on my suit the rose that is brewed in the pot on the balcony. The wife says, leave it. You not even bring a flower for 2 rupees in the market for me. At least let me put a flower that is grown for free in the pot on the balcony in my hair. Today I'm going to tie my hair in a knot. I want it. The 18-year-old daughter comes to her mother and says, Mother, now there are white hairs growing in your head. A rose does not suit white hair. I'll wear the rose. The 15-year-old boy says, no, I have this new suit tailored in Jodhpur. I'll wear the rose. There is one rose and 4 people are arguing over it, so that these 4 people may even have a fight over it. But that does any one person fight over the particular flower? Shivji says, whether you offer me a rose or not, that is fine because I do not want it. But do offer me a particular flower. If nobody wants to take it, then Shivji will take it. first thing is that anyone should be accepted. Secondly, in temples of Shivji, there is no link with time. Ideally, if you look at it, the temples of Shivji are never padlocked. Temples of other gods may be opened only during worshipping hours and will be padlocked during other times. There is a sweetness while worshipping takes place at certain times. 8 times a day you think about how well the Lord must have slept. This is a completely different thing. But when we talk about the truth of Shiva, then he is awake 24 hours a day because he is the father of the universe. He tells us, son, daughter, come to me. I am sitting here waiting for you. You do not need to take out time for me. I am forever waiting for you. This is the truth of Shiva. When there is this feeling in the family, then well-being happens in the family and the whole family is worshipped. Everyone in the family should have time for everyone in the family. Today, we have time for the people. Do we have time for the people in our families? Does the husband have time for his wife? Does the wife have time for the husband? Does the parents have time for the child? The children have time for the parents? If they do not have time, then the well-being will not happen for the family. Third, if there is union and harmony, then well-being will happen for the family. People in the family should not fear each other. We see this from the family of Shivji and the truth of Shiva. You should worship the family of Shivji. Shivji's vehicle is Nandi, who is a buffalo. Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife, who is Shakti power and Mataji mother, a lion has a vehicle. Nandi, buffaloes and lions are born enemies. If the lion sees a buffalo, then it will not leave it alive. But in the family of Shivji, both of them are sitting together peacefully. They have forgotten their habitual venom towards each other. Ganesh's vehicle is a mouse, and Kartika's vehicle is a peacock. Mice and peacocks are born enemies, but both are together in Shivji's family. The mouse is sitting there quietly in the presence of the peacock. When these meet, then we get the Modak of Lord Ganpati Ganesh. We commonly define Modak as laddus, even sweet balls. The word Modak can be split into Mura, meaning bliss, Muda, Anand, and Ga, meaning happiness. Therefore, when happiness and bliss meet in prasad oblations, then this is Ganeshji and this is the Modak. Modak means one who gives bliss. This is not a pleasure that comes when you put the sweets in your mouth. Mod means bliss. Ganeshji gives us bliss. One who gives us wish is Ganeshji. Mod Karna Te Ganesh. All this is needed in the family. The Lord says that on the Rudras I am Shamkara Shiva. You have to sometimes become a Rudra, one who takes on the skies, and it does not matter. Sometimes you have to get hurt to other person, give hurt to the other person, and it does not matter. It all depends on what feelings there are in the heart. If the feelings in your heart are for the well-being of the other person, then Shri Krishna says that this is his vibhuti, divine manifestation. Shri Krishna says that all the Yaksas and the Rākshasas, Kubera is his vibhuti, divine manifestation. The word Vitasha is used for Kubera. This will be split into Vita, wealth, and Isha, Lord. And therefore Kubera is the Lord of wealth. Kubera means the reserve bank of heaven. He has an abundance of wealth. If you look at it in one way, then Yaksas and Rākshasas are symbols for greed. Yaksas are very wealthy, and Rākshasas are always after wealth. The meaning of the sound of Rākshasas is Yato Ratta Bhujavayam. I should have everything that is great in the world. Shri Krishna will describe demonic attitude in the 16th chapter of the Gita. Yakshaya dasyami modisha ityadana vimotiha. I'm rich and well born. Who is there like me? When does greed for wealth in the mind go away? It is when a human being is sitting at the peak of wealth. If he is, then no greed will remain. When a person has so much wealth, then any more wealth that the person gains seems like a waste. This state is Kubera's state. This is Vitesh, the Lord of Wealth state. See here that Shri Krishna has not used the word Kubera. If Shri Krishna wanted to, then he could have used the name Kubera. Kubera Yaksha Raksham. He could have said it, but Shri Krishna did not say Kubera. Shri Krishna said Vitesha, the Lord of Wealth. One means that Isha, Lord of Vita, wealth, is Vitesha, the Lord of Wealth. A person who has become the owner of wealth, one who has kept wealth under his own laws, and one who is not a slave of wealth is Vitesha. Having wealth is not a wrong thing. But are you the owner of wealth? Is wealth under your control? Or are you under the control of wealth? If one gets punished by money, then consider that they fall into the hand of wealth and that they have become slaves to wealth. If this is the case, then happiness, bliss, and everything else will go out to their lives. Are you the owner of wealth? There was a king and he had a masseuse. It was during older times. The masseuse used to come to give him massages every day, and the king would give the masseuse 1 rupee. The masseuse would do his job very well, and he would do it with such happiness and songs as he did. During that time, 1 rupee was a lot. There are still many other people in society that I meet who tell me that when they came from the countryside to Mumbai, then in their first jobs they would get a wage for 14 rupees. They started with a wage of 14 rupees. 60 or 70 years ago, getting 14 rupees was a big thing. The masseuse would get 1 rupee for the king every day, and the masseuse would enjoy this very much. The masseuse would live in servants' quarters of the palace. The king would give the masseuse 1 rupee every day, and the masseuse would enjoy himself throughout the day, twice a day, and call all his friends to sit together every day. They would sing songs together in a group. The masseuse was the happiest of all happy people to such an extent that sometimes even the king got jealous of the masseuse. The king thought that he does not do anything else, and are getting 1 rupee every day, yet he's enjoying himself so much. Whenever I look at him, then he's always happy. Even I do not get this much happiness. The king was thinking. The Prime Minister asked the king what the king was wrong about. The king said, I get worried and jealous about the masseuse. The masseuse is so happy and rejoicing. I have millions of rupees of wealth, but I am not as happy as him. Why is this so? The Prime Minister said, Dear king, do you want to see his happiness go away? The king said, Can it actually go away? The Prime Minister said, Yes. The king asked how. The Prime Minister said, Dear king, I have a plan. That night the Prime Minister took a sack full of money and went in disguise in the dark of the night to the masseuse's house and placed a sack full of 99 rupees there. In the morning on the next day, the masseuse woke up and saw that there was 99 rupees in the sack. The masseuse thought, 99 rupees? If I get 1 more rupee, then I will have 100 rupees. I have 99%, but I want 100%. What will I do? The masseuse went to the king's, and the king gave 1 rupee to the masseuse like every day. The masseuse thought that if I did not eat, drink, or do anything else today, then I'll save this 1 rupee, and my 100 rupees will become complete. That day the masseuse did not eat, and when his friends came to the house every day, then he would tell them to go away, because today I want to save money and complete the 100 rupees. I'm wasting the money on you every day, and this will not work anymore. The 100 rupees were complete. Then on the next day the masseuse thought that, if I got 101 rupees, then how good would it be? Therefore, instead of using that 1 rupee, he would eat very simple foods such as snacks and grams and save a lot of money. During this eating every day, he reached 199 rupees. Within 2 or 3 months, this masseuse reduced his size a half. Songs were no longer heard from his house, and there was no radiance on his face. The king asked him, What has happened? You used to come here happily every morning, and so many songs were heard from your house. You used to sing together with your friends. Why did all of this stop? The masseuse said, Dear king, do not worry about it. The king called the Prime Minister and asked him what he did. Only 2 days after he spoke, his songs stopped, and everything in his house was closed. Why is this? The Prime Minister said, Dear king, I just did one thing. I placed a sack containing 99 rupees in his house. Since then he has been trying to complete the round figures. His happiness, his bliss, and everything else have gone. All of our fates are like that of a masseuse. We sit down trying to complete round figures. Asti, I have this much. Bhakti, now I'll get this much. Asti, I have this much. Bhakti, now I'll get this much. One thinks I have this much, and now I'll get this much. This will happen there, that will happen there. Then this will happen. From all of this, the happiness of life goes away. The fun one got from wealth is no longer there, even though one has accumulated even more wealth. That is why Shri Krishna has used the name Vittesha, the Lord of Wealth here. One should not become a slave to wealth. I am not denying that wealth is necessary, but one should not become a slave of wealth. One should become the owner of wealth. One should become the owner of Vitta wealth. This applies to whatever wealth one may have. One should become the owner of it. That is why Shri Krishna says that out of the Yaksas and Rākshasas, Kubera is Vibhuti, divine manifestation. Out of the 8 Vasus, Agni, fire, is the Lord's Vibhuti, divine manifestations. There are 8 types of Vasus. The word Bhavak is used for fire, and one who purifies is Bhavak, fire. Bhavate Asu Bhavakaha. There are 8 types of Vasus such as Dhruv, Para, Soma, etc. Out of these, Shri Krishna says that Agni, fire, is his Vibhuti, divine manifestation. Remember that, but Agni, fire, has a specific job as a Vasu. The elemental gods represent the aspects of nature. The oblations we give to the gods while praying to them during Yagna are taken to each and every god by Agni, fire. Agni, fire takes the oblations to each and every god. If I were to say in today's language, then Agni, fire runs the courier service. The oblations you offer to the gods while saying Swaha is taken to the gods by Agni, fire. Shri Krishna says that Agni and Bhavak is his, fire is his Vibhuti, divine manifestation. Shri Krishna says that on the mountain peaks, Meru is his Vibhuti, divine manifestation. It is described in the Puranas that on Meru mountain there is an abundance of gold and jewels. Know that Meru is steady. Therefore Meru is used as a symbol for steadiness. Ganga Sati says, the mountain Meru may move, but the mind should not move, no matter how much the world falls apart. This is the benevolence of great saints. Ganga Sati is actually saying that the mountain Meru does not move, and that is why it can be used as an example. This is steadiness. Out of the mountain peaks, the Lord says that He is steadiness. Out of the mountains, the Lord says that He is steadiness. What is a mountain peak? We should understand the spiritual meaning of this. What happens on the majority of occasions is that the closer the person gets to the mountain peak, and one gets a very big blows to his steadiness. It is very difficult to maintain one steadiness intact as one is getting closer to a mountain peak. When you're walking at the foot of a mountain, then there is not much of fault in falling, and there's not much of a damage in falling. If you're walking on the pavement of the road on the ground, then you cannot really fall, and the worst thing that can happen if you fall is that you'll get cuts and bruises in arms and your feet. You put one bandage over them and they become as good as they were a week ago. If you start climbing up, then the closer you get to the peak and the top, firstly, the more of a possibility is there of falling, and secondly, the damage after falling is also greater. In the same way, in any field in life, if a person has no wealth, then how can he get ruined? After getting ruined in it, how much more can he get ruined? But if he starts going towards the peak of wealth, then the greater the possibility of falling. And if he falls from the peak of wealth, gets ruined, or something like that happens to him, then the possibility of him getting hit is large, and he cannot get up. If a person is at the peak of wealth and goes on the wrong path, then it is very difficult for him. If a person reaches the peak of fame and gets ruined, then it is very difficult for him. If a person reaches the peak of knowledge and loses it, then it is very difficult for him. If a person reaches the peak of anything, they have to be very alert. That is why Shri Krishna says that all the mountain peaks he is Meru. It is when one reaches the peak that it is necessary for one to be careful. Shri Krishna says that this power is him. End of verse.